Hi guys, it's Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I am doing something different. I am doing a design by KatDunn. I will put links to all her various internet places and blogs and all the rest of it down below in the information box. And this one is a lighting up box card. Now the difference is the way that Kat does it, she puts a box to contain the light underneath the actual box card itself, so it's like a self-contained unit. Now this is quite a handy way of doing it. You can either put a cable through here with lights and do it that way, or you have enough room in there to put a set of battery operated lights if that's what you wanted to do. So the base of this is pretty simple. I'm going to be using fast drying wood glue to put this together. And it's a lovely card, sort of snowy scene, white houses and Christmas trees, and very, very sweet, very Christmassy. So a little bit of glue on the tabs, and as you can see I'm using a cocktail stick to put the glue on. The file comes with dashed lines for the score lines, for the fold lines, and obviously I have folded those because the last thing you want to do is spend half an hour watching me fold bits of card up. One thing that I would say though is that there are easy ways of folding score lines and there are hard ways of folding score lines. And one of the easiest is to use a ruler, and I'll show you what I mean in a couple of minutes when I've just got these folds done. So hopefully this will set pretty rapidly. It usually does. Having said that, glue tends to be a bit of a nemesis. Sometimes it doesn't want to do what you want it to. Try and make sure you get the corners nicely lined up, because that does make things look a lot better, and it does mean that you'll have a much easier time of it when it comes to doing the rest of the design. Especially when you're doing a plain white card, every little mistake that you might make is prone to show up with a plain white card. If you do something like this, you have to make it well. Now I haven't got instructions of how to make this, so I am basically just looking at the things and thinking, how would I put it together? And obviously this is where the light is going to shine, so that would be the actual base sat down there. Now I have some little houses and things made up already. These are really easy to put together. They are tabbed. You just bend the tabs and you glue them together in the same way as you would glue any box. I've got two larger trees here. Sorry, that one got a little bit crushed a few minutes ago. And these are 4 pieces put together to make each tree. And we have some smaller ones. Now, what I was saying about score lines, I don't know if you can actually see score lines on here, but the easiest way to do a score line when you have something that needs precision is to place a ruler along the score line, and you hold that and then you fold it against the ruler. This usually means that you don't end up with that horrible sort of, she says doing it now, that horrible sort of wriggly score line that you sometimes get if you do it with your fingers. You should get a decent clean fold. Doing it with your fingers without the aid of anything straight can mean that you end up with little creases in it where you don't want them. So this is the card, the actual box part of it. Now these pieces, which look decidedly Tudorish, go on the outside there. Those have to go on all 4 sides. Now if you're worried about getting fingerprints on it, particularly with a white card, use something like a clean piece of paper or a piece of towel to press down. I'm going to let that dry while I start on the lid. So here's the lid, and it has a little hole in the top, so you can put a little tassel or something on it if you wish to, in order to help remove the lid. So Again, lots of scoring to be done, or folding I should say, along the score lines. Nice thing about this lid is it is nice and sturdy because it has a double fold on the edges, not just a single fold. Makes it look neater, and it just makes it that much nicer anyway. So glue on these bits here. I think I will actually make it up before putting the decor on. There we go. And that is the basic formation of the lid. You can glue that in place if you want to. On these we have some cute little sort of snowy scenes with houses and trees, and those go around the outside edge. For the light box we have some different panels, these to go around the side, so I'm going to put those on as well. So all my outer panels on the sides at least will be done. So when it comes to the lid top, the first one that I'm going to put on is this outer rim. Just got my glue going again. There we go. It's probably only about 3 or 4, might be 4 millimeters wide. So it's quite a delicate one. There we go. Just going to press that from the inside. Then we have a piece for the top which has a hole in the middle, and we have a couple of frames for it. So those frames are stacked on top of the edge. And what I will do is I will just stick a couple of washers together. I think it's most probable that 2 of these washers go on the top and 1 goes underneath, like that. There we go. And we have 1 washer that can go on the other side, so that will go in through there, and then you'll have a brad going through to the other side, and then this is going to be tidied up with more of the same panels. Okay, so it appears we have internal panels for the inside side pieces as well, and I really don't want to put any more glue on these things. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of double-sided tape on the inside of these to make them stay down. There we go. That's done. We have the same thing on the inside as we have on the outside. The little inserts for the sides of the box. But as I mentioned, I'm going to be using some double-sided tape, I think, to do these inside, snug up against the top of the box, like that, and just repeat going round. I've used a little bit of white gauzy ribbon, which I think looks quite nice anyway. Very simple, very elegant, and I've used a snowflake brad in the centre. So that went through, and then it was opened up with the washer on the inside, and then it's covered with the decor panels, which you probably can't easily see because everything's all white. So that's actually the lid complete, and the only mistake I really made on it was putting those panels on in the wrong order, but shh, don't tell anyone. This is definitely starting to look more like a Christmas card now. I've put the houses in place, and I've made up some trees and put those on, and I also put the extra decorative panels on the side, so you have a little narrow frame and then you have a piece inside. and that helps to make it feel a lot more sturdy. Now, because I've used a wood glue here, I'm going to leave this to dry for several hours before I put it onto my base. After adding my houses and my trees, I left them to dry overnight because I dusted them with some fake snow. Now, this is the stuff that I used. It goes absolutely everywhere. So yeah, I spent a good 10 minutes last night vacuuming my craft room. I think the result of that is really quite nice. Now, the one thing you need to be careful of is where you're putting your trees, particularly larger ones, because obviously it all has to fold up and you don't want them crashing into each other. But I could have actually got more trees on here had I wanted to. I just didn't decide to do that. So what I have to do now is to glue it onto my base or tape it onto my base, whichever. And then it will be ready for some lights. The easiest way to put the base on is to put the lid on the card itself, turn it upside down, and then apply your base onto the top and allow it to dry for a few minutes before you test out putting your lights in, because you don't want it to fall apart. But I think that looks really, really nice as a box. It's gorgeous to look at. It's just classic white simplicity. It just looks really, really special. It would be great for a winter wedding. I've put some lights in the base, and so now I'm going to just pull the top off. Now, you can't see the lights too well because I've got lights on in here, but if I switch off my main light, there we go, you get the effect. So let's just put the lid back on a second. Alright, now this obviously shows light through at the moment. If you didn't want it to show at all, you could line that with another layer of card, I guess. But when the card is open, you don't see it. Now the other thing is it has a little hole just here. Now with the type of lights that I've got, if I was going to keep this in here, which at the moment I'm not, this little switch here, if you actually stuck that in place with some sticky foam pads or something like that, you could actually just literally have the switch sticking out so someone could switch it on and off without opening up the base. So there we are. That is the design from KatDunn. I think it looks really, really nice. It does take quite a lot of card, but it does give you a rather lovely card at the end of it. I don't think it shows as well on camera probably as it does in reality, because it is all white, so it's very difficult to film. But I think it looks really, really lovely. As I said, I will link to all Kat's details in the information box below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.